Hey everybody, this is Adam Myerson from CycleSmart, and we're going to start doing some race highlight coverage for you here on the CycleSmart YouTube channel, where we do some tactical explanations of what we're seeing in some races. We've got Ninigrit here from the last weekend of March down in Rhode Island. Popular crit, been racing there on a permanent crit course for years and years, and this is the Pro 1-2 race. And what you're seeing here is about 20 minutes into the race, you're seeing a group of 3 guys start to roll off the front, and moves haven't really been sticking up until this point, but this is the first move that really looks dangerous. And I see another 2 riders start to roll after them, and I'm close enough to the front to watch and be able to respond, but I'm eyeing what's happening. I don't want to miss the move. It's a 90-minute race, but early moves make it. Here I see another rider jumping across by themselves, and I'm feeling a little bit nervous. I've got some momentum. I'm sheltered from the wind, so you see I'm moving up here. And as we go through this turn, the wind is coming from the right. I'm using that as my benefit, and then I jump on my own, and I go clear alone. And what I can see in front of me is a single rider, then a group of 2, and then a group of 3. And this looks entirely bridgeable with my sprinter physiology, which means I have to do it in a very short amount of time, less than a minute. I have about a minute to work with to get across, and if I don't get across with anaerobic power, I'm probably not going to get there. I'm not going to do it by threshold. I catch this first rider, and I think I'm not going so fast that he shouldn't be able to get on my wheel. I'm not expecting to have to do this whole thing by myself, but as I go by him, he doesn't actually get on. And here, just as I'm about to get to the next group of 2, you see the CCB rider looks back, notices me coming, and then jumps. And so he's likely been sitting on that whole time because he already has a teammate up in that group of 3. He sees me coming, jumps the GLV rider he's with, gets across on his own, dumping the GLV rider, who I catch and realize is probably not going to be much to help to me because he's already been bridging for longer than I have. The CCB rider gets to that group of 3 where he has a teammate and immediately goes to the front and drives it. And I think I'm still going to get on at this point. I mean, I'm 1 or 2 seconds behind him. He gets to the front of that group before I get to the back of that group. I'm literally a second behind right here. I think I'm just going to roll right on, and I've done it. And at this point, I've been going for a full minute at about almost 500 watts, 1100 watts to make that jump to go across. For the 45 seconds of just hard pedaling without that sprint, it was about 450 watts. But we turn into this headwind section, and they're gone. I don't actually get on. So while this video is generally meant to be about good racing tactics, in this case the good racing tactics aren't mine. I screw this up entirely, and I do not get there in the window that I need to. So again, we're still only 20 minutes into a 90-minute race, and so I decide to wait. I have a big enough gap that I see the 2 guys have gotten together that I had passed, and I wait for them to come back. I encourage them to wait for each other, and we start swapping off. There's no reason to sit up entirely and go back to the field. Maybe that front group of 4 sits up. I'm really hoping that another group jumps across to us and we still make it. But I don't want to give up the gap that we formed. So we spend about a lap out here with just the 3 of us. But even this lap is 2 minutes at 330 watts, which for me is still above threshold. It's not exactly recovery, but it's a pace I can settle in for and maybe do for 10 minutes, 20 minutes if I have to. It's going to be tough, but it's an effort that I can keep making, and I'm happy to keep making it and see what happens. But I've really stuck my neck out here to do this, and I'm just sort of trying to make the best of it here. You know, like again, maybe we'll get lucky, maybe the front group will sit up, but they're gone. You can see they're fully committed, that group of 4. And this course in Ninigrit, it's close to the water. It's obviously perfectly flat. The turns are wide. It's very windy. Wind is a factor. But you can see they're not that far in front of us, and it's certainly enough to stay committed, keep swapping through, keep sort of investing in the effort that we've already made in hopes that something will come of it. What we can't see behind us is what's going on in the field. You know, up in the break, now that the GLV rider didn't make it across, that means he doesn't have any teammates in this move, and so you can expect that they're going to be sending another rider across, or maybe even chasing. But CCB now has 2 riders in that break, so they're just going to be following wheels. They're they're happy to see that move roll away. So we're coming up on over 3 minutes of effort at this point for myself and these two riders, but the field is coming up quick behind us. And now you have to assume if you're in the field, this is going to be a perfect time to counterattack. And that's exactly what happens. We get caught, and the minute we get caught, you see GLV rider is the first one to go. And that's good tactics for them. They don't have a rider in the break. Ben Frederick jumps back after him. So Butcher Box rider follows. As someone yells in the field, "This is it." And it quite clearly is it. The field is stretched. This is the hardest we've gone the whole race. That move is getting established, and so alarm bells are ringing. And that counterattack is actually the move that goes. It starts to stretch us out here. Single file. When we make the next bend, you'll be able to see that we're all completely lined out. Gaps are starting to form. I'm getting a little bit of recovery here. I know I can't go all the way back to the back of the field to recover because I can tell the move is happening now, and I'm still hopeful that I'm going to follow a wheel into this move, but I basically only get about a minute of recovery here. Looking at my file, it was about 280 watts. That's not exactly a recovery. That's still tempo. I'm still riding hard here, following wheels, but I'm close enough to the front that I can see what's going on. You can see the separation's happening. That group that went away is going to get clear. But I can see Tim Mitchell on the left, CCB rider. I see him winding up, and I can just read his body language. He's about to go, and sure enough, I move out to the right, and he hits it. So when he jumps, there's a Velocio rider there who jumps after him, and that's good for me because I need a little bit of cushion because I was not right on Tim's wheel. But this is a very big effort. 1,100 watts to make that jump, to go with Tim and cover that attack of Tim and Mike here. And now you can see we're going to get there. I'm fully confident with this effort. Tim's bringing us up. He's connecting to guys who are also just about to connect. But as we catch these two riders, they're not connecting. They're going backwards, and I don't realize that. Tim goes around those riders and continues with his effort. I follow Mike. Mike tucks in behind them, and in an instant, Tim gets across, and Mike and I get stuck behind these riders who are going backwards. I figure it out here and panic and jump again. But now this is my third big acceleration in less than a couple of minutes. Mike figures it out too and jumps at the same time next to me, but we almost kind of get in each other's way and are not sure who's gonna fully commit to this. But I keep going. I know it's in or out right now. I have to go 100% if I'm gonna get across, if the window's gonna close. But that's it. Mike pulls through, another rider jumps, but Tim is the last one who gets across. And so literally, as a result of all of my own actions, I remove myself from this breakaway by I guess what you would say is bad timing. I'm off the rhythm of the moves. I'm jumping across to things late, not getting there. The counters to the moves that I make are the ones that get across, and I'm not fit enough, and I don't time it right to get back on top in that window that I need to in order to get that done. And that's it. I missed the move. The move's gone. So 12 guys make that move, and I'm not one of them. So that is an example of how, even when you read races well, you can be your own worst enemy, and I missed the move here. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope it was useful. Hope you'll tune in for more this season. We'll do a lot more of them as much as we can.